Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. What is the shape of progress? What image do we have in our mind of progress? The 20th century apparently gave us a very dominant shape of progress. Like this. Ah, yeah. Growth endlessly. And as everybody knows, exponential growth, it doesn't just stop where this hose pipe stops. It goes through the ceiling. It was measured with one number. We called it GDP. The challenge, of course, is that we know that economic activity is resource intensive. It uses energy. It uses materials. And the direction that needs to travel is the other way because of the massive overshoot we face. So goodbye to the one piece of pipe. We need to start again. We need a new compass for where we actually want to go, a new shape of progress that serves these times, that serves what we already know. So I offer you one. The only donut that actually turns out to be good for us, because you don't need to eat this one. We just need to put it into practice. The goal? Leave no one in the hole in the middle of the donut, falling short on the essentials of life, and leave no one without life's essential resources. But at the same time, do not overshoot that outer limit. That is where we destroy the life-supporting systems of the only known living planet in the universe. Meet the needs of all people within the means of this living planet. Surely this is our existential shared goal. This is a new shape of progress because it's not endless growth. It's thriving in balance between the social foundation and the ecological ceiling. In fact, I'm going to invite you to do this right now with your hands. Just do this shape. Yeah, here we are. Right? Thriving in balance. And if you do it just close here, it's just like a heartbeat. We already know in our own bodies that our bodies thrive when they are healthy in balance. Enough food, water, oxygen, heat, but not too much. Human health lies in balance. Can we take what we deeply know in our bodies and take from human health to planetary health and create a living world of which we are a part that thrives in balance? If balance is the shape of future progress, we are so far from that right now. As all the red here shows, billions of people in the world fall short on the essentials of life, and we are overshooting at least six of the 9 planetary boundaries. I've no doubt that all of our children's children will tug every one of us on the sleeve one day and say, "Did you know about this? And what did you do once that you knew? How did you transform your work in business, in government, in education, in community activism? How did you transform your lifestyle, your country, your company?" Surely this is the story to turn around, and we need metrics that tell us where to go, and then policies that actually take us there. From the global donut, we can go to national donuts. 4 very different countries. Malawi, human shortfall without overshooting their share of the planet. China, double whammy, human shortfall and ecological overshoot. Let's go to the US at the end. Massive ecological overshoot, drawing so much of Earth's resources into the United States. And Europe there, the European nations. Certainly human shortfall and ecological overshoot together. This is the story to turn around. How can this start to happen? What if every nation in Europe, indeed in the world, started to say, this is our goal now? How do we unroll this donut? Let's open it up and go inside between the social foundation and the ecological ceiling. I invite everyone, imagine a place you live and love and ask of it this question: how can our nation become a home to thriving people in a thriving place while respecting the well-being of all people and the health of the whole planet? This is what the shape of progress becomes. In fact, we have 4 questions to ask here. There's local aspirations. How can everybody here thrive? with food, health, education, housing, transport, respect, income, a life of dignity for all here. And how can local nature here thrive? How can our cities repair and restore and regenerate the ecosystems of which we're a part? Beautiful local aspirations, but every city, every nation is part of the world, embedded through global supply chains, through global policies, through histories of colonialism, through futures of climate and ecological impacts. We are connected to the world and must take our responsibilities for the whole. So how can we respect the health of the whole planet, come back within that ecological overshoot of energy use and material use, reduce our impact, come back within this single living planet? And how do we respect the rights of people worldwide, the people who stitched the clothes we're wearing, who picked and packed the food we've eaten, who assembled the lights and phones and cameras and screens and made the carpets and all the materials? They are worldwide. We have a right, a responsibility to respect their lives too. So fine ideas, local aspirations and global responsibilities. What if we actually put this into practice? This is where we must now go. We have the vision, now we need the action. There are over 70 cities and regions, and it's begun with cities and regions, not with nations, but cities, districts, towns and regions who've taken this very concept and are putting it into practice in local government around the world. Let me show you just two. Barcelona has unrolling the donut, gathering the metrics, holding itself to account. This will be the beginnings of the future tool for monitoring whether or not this city is living within the donut. What will be the policies that will actually take them there? How will they reduce their carbon and material footprint while providing housing and education and health for all? This is the 21st century challenge every city and nation must take on. Brussels, right here, a 10-minute ride away. I was this morning in a fantastic meeting, the Brussels Capital Region, led by Barbara Tracht, Secretary of State for Economic Transition, are looking at Brussels through this lens with all the monitoring indicators, but then following up with policies. She was telling us we are changing the rules, the regulations, so that only businesses that are beginning to respect these planetary boundaries can do business here. Public finance from 2030 will only flow to companies that actually are coming into this space. Public money will only fund research and innovation that takes us into this space. Let's put on service public services that ensure the resources we have provide first for the rights of all people, the universal basic services we need in place. The Zoe Institute have created such a compass for the whole European Union, using its own dashboards of resilience, its own metrics. It's time to follow through with these metrics, with policies that turn them into practice. Not a stability and growth pact, but accompanying that with a well-being and sustainability pact, guided by these metrics, because these are the metrics that will take us safely with security, with resilience, with human rights and ecological integrity through the 21st century. What thrills me is to work with policymakers who are already doing this, who get in touch and say, we're in action. This is where leadership is, along with the youth. The policymakers who say, we're on it, we're doing it in these cities. And we've just published a report which is showing how these 70 places are starting to put this into practice. Let's make this practice everywhere. Let's build on the peer leadership of those who are already in action, showing that what some think is impossible is already beginning to happen. Are they as far as they need to be? No way. No way. This is a challenge to begin in a city that's embedded in a nation, embedded in a region, embedded in a global system that is pushing back with power against these changes. And yet we start, and yet we rise. So it is time to put these ideas into practice, to take all the indicators we have and follow through with policies that actually begin to deliver this new shape of progress that is thriving. Thank you very much.